Welcome to State of Events. I'm Anya Komisarek.
And I'm Michelle Quintero. Thank you for joining us.
President Obama paid a visit to the Bay Area. Reporter Erica Cataray was the only student television reporter to be there when he landed. Erica, he wasn't here for vacation now, was he?
Nope, mainly business. Now, he did attend a fundraiser during his stay, but primarily he was here for the summit, which addressed how cyber threats are a problem for national security and businesses. According to the FBI, millions of computers have been hacked, which creates problems not just for them, but for everyone. Private information gets stolen, which creates a lot of issues.
The president arrived at San Francisco International Airport for the White House Summit on Cybersecurity, which was held in Stanford. Various companies have been hacked, such as Target and more recently, Sony Pictures. The discussions included better cybersecurity practices and safe information sharing.
This is not a Democratic issue or a Republican issue. This is not a liberal or conservative issue. Everybody's online and everybody's vulnerable.
The president signed an executive order after his keynote address. The summit also addressed ways of having secure payment technology and more.
I'm at Stanford University, and right behind me is Memorial Auditorium, where President Obama delivered keynote remarks earlier. Various panels were held, and the event brought in leaders from all over the nation.
Several chief executives of large companies, as well as staff from the National Security Council and Department of Homeland Security, were present. Those on the panel included the CEOs of PG&E, Kaiser Permanente, and MasterCard. Apple's CEO also spoke.
And we believe deeply that everyone has a right to privacy and security. And that's why I stand before you today.
So, Erica, you got to be there when the president landed as well as when he was in the summit. How was it?
You know, it was a memorable experience. When Air Force One landed, he came out of the plane, he greeted everyone, a crowd. In fact, he even took somebody's baby in the air, and he stayed in the Bay Area for 3 days. He stayed at the Fairmont Hotel in San Francisco. During his speech at Stanford, he even cracked some jokes, especially regarding passwords that are commonly used by him and I'm sure a lot of other people.
So what is this order the president signed?
It promotes information sharing in the private sector as well as between the government, and the Department of Homeland Security develops special standards, and companies are encouraged to use these information sharing hubs as well.
Now, you mentioned that he was primarily here for the summit, but where else did he go?
He went to a fundraiser in Russian Hill. He also went to dinner one night up in Presidio Heights with the CEO of Tesla. His name is Elon Musk.
Okay, great. Thank you so much, Erica.
Heald College students will not receive their Cal Grants on time. This is due to Heald's failure to provide the necessary documents to the California Student Aid Commission. Approximately 1,700 students will be affected, totaling to $3.5 million in grants. The commission recently voted to withhold Cal Grant distributions until the end of April.
A new anti-discrimination bill passed the Utah Senate. It protects people from discrimination in employment and housing based on sexual orientation or gender identity. The Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints is backing the bill. The church recently came out supporting LGBT rights. However, religious groups and organizations are exempt, including the Boy Scouts of America.
Former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton used her private email for official use during her time in office. On March 4th, Clinton tweeted that she wants the public to see her emails. Her emails were also stored on a private server, as opposed to a more secure government server. While experts say she did not violate any federal laws, the former Secretary of State has felt the pressure to speak out.
Coming up on State of Events, a major San Francisco landmark has gone dark.
And later, some pets in the city need your help. Reporter Sherae Honeycutt will show us more.
Before City Car Share, we were spending a lot of money on gas and insurance. I felt like I had to check my bank account every time I went driving.
City Car Share is great because the membership includes insurance and a gas card. I don't even know why we owned a car in the Bay Area.
Now we just have more money to spend on other things.
City Car Share is an important part of our lives.
City Car Share gives you the benefits of using a car
without the hassle of owning one.
Welcome back to State of Events. San Francisco is a little less bright. Our reporter Christian Franklin is here to tell us why. Christian?
Thank you, Michelle. Many people gathered downtown to say farewell to the beloved Bay Bridge lights. March 6th was the last day to enjoy the Bay Bridge Light Show. Illuminate the Arts raised $4 million towards the maintenance on the cable lights. Leo Villarreal is the artist who designed the 25,000 LED lights that tourists and locals believe has a huge impact over San Francisco's overall ambience.
I like to ride my bike out here quite often. It's just a great view. It's very relaxing to watch them.
For me, it's like a symbol of San Francisco.
Now, the city won't be dark forever. The lights will return in 2016, just in time for Super Bowl 50 at the new Levi's Stadium. From the newsroom, I'm Christian Franklin, State of Events. Back to you in the studio.
For the first time ever, for women, lung cancer has passed breast cancer as the leading cause of death. The reason for this is smoking. Women's smoking peaked years after men started smoking, which is why we're seeing these deaths from women. The rise of smoking for women happened 3 decades ago.
A hospital in San Francisco completed their first 6-way kidney transplant this week. California Pacific Medical Center spokesman Dean Fryer said it was a 2-day process. The 6-way swap was started by Julie Brassard, who wanted to save a life. Her donation started an organ swap that helped 5 more patients receive new kidneys.
Immigration officials move to deport nearly 150 Bosnians living in the U.S. Officials say some committed genocide in former Yugoslavia in the 1990s. They're accused of executing 8,000 unarmed Muslims during the Bosnian War. A defense lawyer for the group says the claims are merely guilt by association.
Ringling Brothers in Barnum and Bailey Circus announced they'll be removing elephants from their shows. Animal rights groups have protested Ringling's alleged mistreatment of animals for years. The circus says despite what critics think, their main focus is the preservation of the Asian elephant. The last performing elephants will relocate to an elephant conservation center in Florida, but the change is not immediate. The elephants aren't set to retire until the year 2018.
Concerns are growing in San Francisco over housing. A recent poll by the Chamber of Commerce showed that housing and rent prices have residents worried. But people are not the only ones worrying about housing. Here in the city, Sherae Honeycutt joins us live. Explain, Sherae.
It's probably not who you'd expect, Anya. New data is showing that pets are greatly affected by the rise in not only price, but standards for residents here in San Francisco. Home is where you lay your head, but what if you didn't know where that would be? Animals that are adopted out of the San Francisco SPCA go to homes that are meant to be forever, but sometimes that's not the case. The organization says they've noticed as rent prices go up, so do their residents. In 2014, they had over 200 pet surrenders, and the organization says over half that number is directly related to the housing crisis. Owners experience issues with their landlords or are unable to find pet-friendly housing.
Definitely have seen more where landlords, because of the price of housing and how hard it is to find a place, they put the restrictions on there because for them, sometimes they don't want to deal with tenants that have pets.
Sam is a dog that was brought to the SFSPCA because of landlord issues here in San Francisco. He's been here about a month, and he's ready to go home. Aren't you, Sam?
This isn't Sam's first time at the SFSPCA in his 4 human years. He's been adopted before, and now he's looking for a lifelong family.
It would be easy to think that because someone's surrendering a pet, you know, they're just not trying hard enough to find a place that can take a pet. But with the cost of housing in the city, it's just so difficult to find a place that not only you can afford, but it will allow you to keep the pets that you want.
Sam is still available for adoption through the SFSPCA's Mission Campus. He's a 4-year-old Chihuahua mix, and he has a great temperament. If you're interested in adopting Sam, you can find more information at sfspca.org. And if you happen to adopt him, please tweet me and let me know. Live in the studio, I'm Sherae Honeycutt for State of Events. Back to you.
Next on State of Events, there may be life on another planet soon.
And fans will have a chance to rent out one celebrity's home.
When it's time to choose healthcare for your child, you want the best. When it's time for an important medical decision, you want a professional you can trust. At Valencia Health Services, your time is well spent. We provide professional quality healthcare. Valencia Health Services, dedicating quality time to every child, every visit. Committed to professional healthcare because your child's health is our first priority. Valencia Health Services, quality time because we care.
Welcome back to State of Events. On Monday, Apple attempted to spring forward the business of telling time. CEO Tim Cook announced the much-anticipated Apple Watch will go on sale on April 24th. Cook called the Apple Watch, quote, the most advanced timepiece ever created, unquote. The watch comes in 2 different sizes and 3 different models, with prices ranging from $349 to over $10,000. Apple will have models in stores on April 10th. Which is the same day it will begin taking pre-orders.
Since what you wear
Apple
is an
also announced
expression
a new
of
line
who
of
you
MacBooks and updates to its health apps.
From high-tech to no-tech, one organization dares you to disconnect. Sapna Gil Sarup with more details.
Thank you, Anya. If you're anything like me, you need your phone to survive. But last Friday, people stepped away from their screens for a digital detox. There's live music, activities, even face painting. But one thing is purposely missing from this event. This is a digital detox, which means no phones or digital devices allowed. Digital detox counselor Weege explains.
It's like a device-free party. I think the whole point is also just like putting down the devices. Like people are so busy trying to record the event as opposed to experiencing the event. And they're like, I have to post this, I have to document this, as opposed to like, I'm gonna sit here and enjoy this.
There are more and more events like this popping up across the country. The goal is the same, disconnect to reconnect. Live in the studio, Sapna Gil Sarup, San Francisco, State of Events.
Rock the School Bells is an annual hip-hop conference for youth and educators. This year's took place on Saturday at Skyline College. Youth from all over arrived in San Bruno to attend the conference. It looks to educate and empower youth through hip-hop. Several workshops were offered, as well as an exhibition of graffiti art, ciphers, and a breakdance competition. All proceeds benefit educational scholarships for high school and college students.
Silicon Valley, known for its tech innovation, is getting attention for other reasons. Ellen Pao, a former Silicon Valley Capital executive, testified this week against top tech investors Kleiner, Perkins, and Caulfield & Byers for sex discrimination. She claimed she has passed up from a promotion back in 2012, but a statement she made this week may change the context of her lawsuit. She testified that she turned the company down when she first talked about a position there, because she felt it was too junior. Pao is suing for $16 million.
The 72 passengers aboard the Asiana flight that crashed at SFO nearly 2 years ago settled their lawsuits against the airline. Lawyers say they've reached agreements with these passengers who filed personal injury claims. They will not discuss the settlement amounts. The 2013 crash killed 3 Chinese teens and left 200 people injured.
2014 marked a new record for SFO. The international airport broke its record for number of passengers in a year. A total of 47.2 million passengers traveled through SFO last year. Mayor Ed Lee says the traffic has a positive economic impact for the city. It's created over 36,000 jobs in the airport and almost 156,000 off-site jobs.
A bill that would legalize medical marijuana on a federal level is being introduced today. 3 bipartisan senators are proposing this historic bill that would end federal ban on the substance. According to the San Francisco Gate, this would downgrade marijuana on a federal government's official list of dangerous drugs. This would make it easier for banks to serve the marijuana industry and would also reform biases in the federal government's research for cannabis. The House of Representatives recently introduced 2 bills that would also legalize it, but also tax recreational marijuana.
A few Bay Area residents are one step closer to living on the big red planet. The Mars One Foundation hopes to establish a human colony on Mars. After reviewing more than 200,000 1,000 applicants from around the world, 100 candidates have been chosen to be a part of the selection round. Several Bay Area residents and natives were among the chosen few. The selection round will include group training, exercises, and interviews. In the end, only 4 will be a part of the mission.
Spring break is just around the corner. If you're searching for the perfect hotel spot in Southern California, look no further. Actor Leonardo DiCaprio is renting out his home in Palm Springs. For one night, you'll be paying $45,000. His pad has 7 bedrooms and 6 bathrooms. The home comes with free maid service and, of course, free Wi-Fi. If you're looking to make an offer, visit 432@malsa.com.
First responders in Utah saved an 18-month-old girl from a partially submerged car Saturday. Little did they know, Lily Crosbeck had been hanging upside down in her car seat for nearly 14 hours. Police officers say they saw the car in the river and heard a voice calling for help.
We heard something saying, help us inside. And so it was at that point that we, said we have to get in that car now. And we all, the 4 of us, were able to push the car on its side. And that's when I looked inside and was able to see the infant strapped in the back seat.
Lily's mother died in the accident, but the toddler is recovering in the hospital. Although all the officers say they heard the voice, there's no explanation as to where it came from.
Caltrans is facing another issue with the Bay Bridge demolition. Wildlife officials fear the major explosion planned will kill wildlife. Specifically, the smeltfish, a 5-inch creature, are at risk. This species is close to extinction, and the Department of Fish and Wildlife fear the explosion can cause a sudden change in water pressure, killing the fish. Caltrans is considering an alternative by cutting the bridge and hauling it on the barges later on this year. San Francisco State is close to holding another record.
And Hunter Pence is out. That's coming up.
At first I was a bit hesitant to try it.
To tell you the truth, I didn't think I'd fit in. But I kept pushing her and she ended up loving it.
I was surprised. It was an amazing experience.
And now we do it at least twice a month.
I've even gotten most of my friends to do it.
If you do it enough, you can get a great deal on the price.
Why didn't we think of this before?
It's a stimulating experience.
The Z-Space Studio.
Word for word.
Z-Space Studio, word for word, stimulation guaranteed. See you at the theater.
Welcome back to State of Events. I'm Jenna Berkman with sports. SF State's wrestling program has been home to 13 national champions over the years. This weekend, they'll be looking to add 3 more. Jordan Garola, Andrew Reggie, and Johnny Costa qualified for the NCAA Division II National Wrestling Championships. Each placed in the top 4 of their weight classes at the West Super Regionals earlier this month. Nationals will be held Friday and Saturday in St. Louis, Missouri. This is the 52nd straight year a Gator has qualified for the tournament. Speaking of Gator sports, every year our teams have to say goodbye to players who are graduating. Last month, the men and women's basketball team held their annual senior night. John Wilson was there to see the games and the celebration.
February 21st wasn't just the final home games of the season for the men's and women's basketball teams. For Michelle Sutton, Leticia Galarza, Liz Wersch, Christian Juarez, Bren Haley, Sam Colmenero, and Udin Osakwe, it was the final home game of their college career. And the women's game was a special farewell. They beat Chico State to win their first game of the season.
I wanted to get, and the whole team wanted to get at least one win at home in front of our crowd. And it feels good that it feels even more better because it happened on our senior night.
Their coaches won a Division II championship, but said this victory felt just as good.
I played in the biggest game on the biggest stage at our level, and like I told him after the game, it didn't feel any better than this.
Now the result on the court wasn't quite as good for the men, but there was one bright spot. Bren Haley made 5 threes for 15 points. However, the senior point guard said the real highlight of his night was all the support he got from his family, his teammates, and his coach.
There was so much stuff going through my head, like from Coach Trev being the last time I played for him at home, and just him giving the opportunity to recruit me, and And I got that aspect, and at the same time playing with my teammates for the last time home. And then I look at my family, and it's like all the sacrifices they made to give me this experience.
When Brent Haley calls me in 4 years, or out of the blue, or Udin Asakwa gives me a call, or even Sam Colmenero, bumps me somewhere, and that will make me the proudest. That will make me the proudest that I was able to give them something that they can carry for the rest of their lives.
Their time in an SF State jersey may be over, but these graduating Gators have made memories that will last forever. At San Francisco State University, I'm John Wilson, State of Events.
Continuing with San Francisco State athletics, every week SF State chooses a male and female athlete that played exceptionally well. Last week, Marissa Andrade of the women's softball team went 8 for 12 with 7 doubles. She also managed to get 6 RBIs. The junior second baseman pulled through those stats just within a 2-game tournament. After taking a year off from baseball, one Bay Area player is coming back for more. Reporter Ashley Keene has the story.
Thanks, Jenna. It came as a surprise to many to hear that pitcher Barry Zito is headed back to Oakland. After being bought out of his contract by the Giants in 2013 for $7 million, he's going back to his roots. The 36-year-old lefty recently signed a minor league contract with the Athletics. Zito made his mark on Oakland in 2002, winning 23 games and a Cy Young Award. After 7 years with the Athletics, he had an ERA of 3.55 and made 3 All-Star teams. His outstanding record earned him a $126 million deal with the Giants. Although he had a standout moment in the 2012 World Series run, he didn't exactly live up to expectations. But he looks to reinvent himself where it all began.
Big breaking ball swung on and missed, and Zito, a 1-2-3 opening inning, and Ramon Hernandez didn't know that. Athletics fans are anxious to see what Zito will bring back to the table. Longtime fan Bryce Cherry said, "He might be a good mentor for the younger pitchers, but I'd be surprised if he made the roster. He has to compete with some really good young talent." Zito was satisfied with his first live batting practice in spring training this year, but he still has a lot to prove. Zito hasn't pitched in the bigs since 2013. This leaves some A's fans concerned that he won't be able to get back into the zone. Reporting live in San Francisco, I'm Ashley Keene, State of Events. Back to you.
Thanks, Ashley. San Francisco Giants outfielder Hunter Pence remains optimistic after suffering a fractured arm last week. Pence is expected to be out for 6 to 8 weeks after Chicago Cubs pitching prospect Corey Black hit him in the forearm. Black followed up with an apology on Twitter, saying he hopes Pence heals quickly. The Giants' right fielder remains in good spirits and said, quote, "You can't ever be upset, especially when there is no intent. The saddest part is I can't comb my hair anymore." Despite the recent drop, Tahoe is still struggling with snow levels. This last weekend, Squaw Valley Ski Resort was supposed to host the World Cup Ski Cross. Unfortunately, due to the snow levels, the Cup was canceled. The lack of snow this season has been devastating for businesses in the area. Lake Tahoe businesses survive off tourism. California's drought has caused this winter to be the record warmest in the state's history. And that's all today for sports. I'm Jenna Berkman.
Thanks, Jenna. Well, that's all for State of Events.
Thank you for joining us. We'll see you next week.